Oh man.
It's your boy Greg. We the co-pilot from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
Yeah, today, man, we on episode 113 of the Co-Pilots podcast, man. How you feeling today, Greg?
Man, everything good, man. The same as usual, man. Been a busy day, but it's all good though.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man, man, it's one of them days, man. It's cold out, man. Got to
Oh,
put the Scullies on today. Got to put them out today. Got to wear
oh,
the
definitely.
Jaguar Scully for the first time in a long time, man. So it felt good to put on some Jaguar gear. I'm still repping them Jags, man. But
Oh, yeah, all day.
all day. But stop it. So we're gonna get right into the show tonight, man. Ain't gonna waste nobody time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on Facebook, not for YouTube, LinkedIn, and whatever streaming service you might be streaming off of, man. We want to thank all you guys, man. So we're gonna get right into the show tonight, man. And the first topic we're gonna talk about tonight on the show is the national championship game, man. I thought Indiana played a great game. I think that they showed that it was the best team in the country, man. The win off undefeated season in this age of college football, bro, is something to be said. So I really do feel like when you look at this Indiana team, they did something very special, and I think that Kurt Savetti, man, he has really made Indiana now in this era of college football a powerhouse in college football, man. What's your thoughts, Greg?
I think, man, when I watched that game, man, it was a game that could have went down to either team. Either team could have won that game. Hats off to Miami because some things you just can't overcome. And it still went down to the final seconds of the game. And I think one of the things that was the main thing in this game was the block punt. That put them ahead. And Miami did everything they could do, but some things is hard to come from up under. And that was a miscue on the special teams. On the special team side of the ball. So, but when you look at when they offense, they defense or whatnot, both of the teams pretty much play evenly matched. But you got to think, man, it came down to the better quarterback. Execution, man. That's what it came down. And much as I like to criticize Mario Cristobal for his coaching, I can't say that he coached a bad game. It all came down to execution. Who can make a play? Who wanted it more? You get what I'm saying? And it's one of those games when it boiled down, somebody got to win and somebody got to lose. And unfortunate for Miami fans, it was the Hurricanes that came in on the losing side. But like I say, man, I think Indiana, who we thought they was, I gave Miami a shot because of this. They played at home. You know, that was the reason why I chose Miami. I was and like I say, man, and they still could have won that game. Miami was one of the better teams, and they showed that they deserved to be in the college playoff. Regardless of what I might have said about them earlier, whatnot, about them not winning the conference championship. They played throughout the whole playoff like they was one of the best teams in the nation.
I agree, man. When you look at this Miami team, man, and we talked about it on the podcast early on this season that Miami was one of the top 12 teams in the country, man. And it was no question. Um, well, I think when it all comes down to this game, when I look at it, man, was you know mental mistakes at the wrong time. When you look at the block punt, and I think that really what separated
Correct.
that series because you
Right.
look at what Tony did. Tony took the punt return. He should have let that bounce in the end zone, which set up the field position for that drive. They didn't get out of the red. They was stuck in that part of the field. They went 3-and-out, and then they punt the ball. And I mean, mental focus. You gotta block that. You gotta block that up, man. You gotta block that
Right.
up. And they didn't. And then I think that's what really came down to that. You know what I'm saying? To that. And I think, when you looking at this game, far as if you're a Miami fan, you got to be kicking yourself like, dang, we should have won this game. I mean, you look at the guy like Tony, it seemed like they had the speed on the outside. They had all
Yeah.
that, but Indiana came to play, man. It was a more physical team than Miami. They out physical Miami in a certain sense, man. You seen how them running lanes was open up for their running back throughout
Oh
most of the
yeah.
night.
Throughout the past, one of the things I saw, I'm not gonna say that they was more physical or whatnot, because I think that when it boiled down to it, like it went, the power went into both teams' favor, whatnot. Because it was, I saw at times when Miami was the more physical team, especially in the pass rush situations. You get what I'm saying? If you look at Mendoza, man, he stayed on even plays. He didn't even have the ball. He was on the ground. His mouth was bleeding early in the game. But shout out to him, man, for showing grit. But like I say, man, it was a physical match on both sides. But one of the things I saw that Indiana did, and this is what we criticize teams for not doing. They stuck with the run game. They made
Yeah,
sure that it was going to be a balanced game regardless. You get what I'm saying? And they kept it basic. They kept it very basic. They ran on first down, second down, third down. They put their quarterback in short, in third and short situations. You know, and he was able to make those plays or whatnot, able to make those throws. And I think that was one of the things that helped them. You get what I'm saying? It's like, they're set up for the big play. Didn't see a lot of big plays, but they made sure they set up for those plays. You get what I'm saying? You look at one of the biggest plays on offense was when he ran when he ran for the touchdown when he ran for the touchdown in the end zone. Now, that was like probably what 15-yard run right there. You get what I'm saying? And you look at like on Miami side, they had big plays as well. When you look at probably one of the biggest plays of the game with Mark Fletcher when he ran for a touchdown early in the game. So like I say, man, both teams came out physical, but Indiana, they stuck with their gun. That was one of the things I like that they did. You get what I'm saying? And the defense, they was able to keep it close where they didn't have to get away from the run game too. The defense kind of helped out along with that.
I agree, man. Indiana, man, and I want to say another thing too with this Indiana team. They kind of outcoached Miami at times, man, because it was parts of this game where I remember watching like it'll be like 3rd and 6, and Miami would be in a nickel or dime type situation formation where they got they thinking a passing situation, and they would run right up the gut first down, get 10, 12 yards on third down. They did that a couple times, and it just seemed like Indiana was always a step ahead of Miami when it came to the X's and O's as far as execution. And I thought that was very important in the game, man. And also, too, man, I'm gonna ask you a question, man, too, because I thought this was another situation where Mario Cristobal should have actually went for it. I think it was the end of the first half, and they they had went for it, got the first down on fourth down. Then they got into like that part of the field, kicked the field goal and missed. And I was like,
Right.
it was like a 4th and 2. I'm like, you should have just went for it. You just went for it like a couple series ago on the same drive. You should go for it because you playing a national championship game. You got to be a good. I thought he should have been aggressive at that point, but they end up, they playing conservative and missed the field goal. So, what's your thoughts on that, Greg? Do you think he made the right decision? Because I thought
I
he should
think
have
I
went for
I think he did. You'll feel you know what I'm saying? It like they say in the NFL, you pay your field goal kicker to kick field goals. You get what I'm saying? You bring these kickers in on scholarship to make field goals. That's his job. You get what I'm saying? Whether he hit it or miss it, that's his job. So I think he made the right decision in that point because you have to take the points. That's the same thing we was criticizing the Jags for in the playoff game. Hey man, you up here because those points can be the deciding factor in the game. I think the main thing about it, the kicker should have made that. So that that's my thing. That's my take on it, man. I think that it was the right decision. It just come down to execution. You get what I'm saying? I
it. I
would
got you.
never I would never blame a coach for being conservative when you can like for taking 3 points. You get what I'm saying when the game is close. I would never blame a coach for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to be conservative. It just boils down to execution. It's and like I say, man, I look at it, man, Miami, man, when you look at the grand scheme of how they lost this game, it was on special teams. You get what I'm saying?
I agree. I
If
agree.
you look at the block punt special teams play, you get what I'm saying? And also the missed field goal, you know.
Oh,
So that those plays came down to execution on the special team side of the ball. They played a good game on offense outside of the interception. You get what I'm saying?
right.
Granted, Carson Beck, he had to, he's forcing something. It's during the final seconds. You trying to, but outside of that, I think the offense, Carson Beck played a good game. The defense, they played a good game as well. You get what I'm saying? You going against the Heisman Trophy winner, the best collegiate player in the nation. You get what I'm saying? And you was pretty much able to contain him. He didn't really have. I mean, he played good, but he didn't have one of those type games where um he just, what I'm saying, picked apart the defense. He was under duress most of the game. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you look at, on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, both teams played a good game, but it was special teams was the deciding factor in those games with the block punt and the missed field goal.
I agree with you, man, to a certain degree. The only reason why I felt like he should have went for it at that particular moment, unlike the Jaguars, we had a lead, so you could have stacked on that lead. At that
Correct.
particular moment in the game, it looked like Miami. That game was like nip and tuck. Like, man, we need to try to get some momentum going because they wasn't getting anything going at that point. And then once they missed that field goal, it just seemed like at that particular point in the game that everything was swung to Indiana side. I thought that was a moment and point of the game where they could have took some momentum, maybe went for it on fourth down, got the first down, maybe could have made the field goal a lot easier if they would have got stopped later in the drive. I just thought at that point, they should have kind of went for it. So we got some people in the chat saying, I think they was overlooking Indiana. Big Kev said that on TikTok, man. He think they was overlooking Indiana. Do you think they overlooked Indiana?
I don't think they overlooked Indiana. They came in the game knowing they the underdogs, but they came in with the attitude or whatnot, and they actually played like it. Like I say, it boiled down to special teams. You know what I'm saying? Your skilled players did their job. You know, I would even say Carson Beck, he pretty much had a decent game outside of that interception at the end. I don't think they overlooked them. I just think, man, we already knew that Indiana was the better team. Indiana was the better coach team. They was undefeated. You know what I'm saying? They beat, Ohio State early in the season, although Miami did also. But the consensus favorite had, you know what I'm saying? The consensus had Miami, had Indiana as the better team. So, and I think they knew that. They pretty much came out there with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah,
But so I don't think Miami overlooked them. It was just Indiana was they are who we thought they was. They was the better team.
I feel you. I agree, man. And man, I just think so we're gonna talk about Miami now in the grand scheme of things. What you think, moving forward? Do you think I looked at the early predictions as far as the way too early top 25, and they still got them guys. I think they got them at like number 8, the 8th best team in the country. So do you think this Miami team can repeat the success and maybe they can finally win an ACC championship game next year? Do you think they had that in them, or do you think this could just be a one and done type deal with the Miami Hurricanes?
Um, I think they can, and I'm gonna tell you my reason why. You get what I'm saying? Like when you
Yeah.
understand the Miami culture, not just the Hurricane culture, but the Miami culture as a whole. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these kids coming out the womb, hey, you know what I'm saying, throwing up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, and not just Miami. You got to think Broward County, Miami, all that in
Wade
surrounding
County,
areas. You get what I'm saying? That
Pompano.
305, yeah, it's South Florida.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And you can even say other areas in Florida as well, because you have fans that of the U in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? Felix Williams, our cousin, we may add. You know what I'm saying? So when the you when people when you have the fan base sold on the culture that's being presented, you know, get what I'm saying? If you giving them something to play for, now you got more recruits coming. You know what I'm saying? Like that would stop, because we know Mario Cristobal is a good recruiter. He's a great recruiter. You get what I'm saying? You know, his coaching may be subpar at times, but he can recruit, you know. So I think that that alone will help the when you talking about rather when you asking whether the U is back, that alone will help that, you know what I'm saying, help that team out, help that program being able to recruit. And we know that that's something that Mario Cristobal can do, you know. And like I said, you know, he's not a bad coach, you know. I think, you know, and my criticism early was that the fan base was going to get tired of him and everything like that, and he was on the hot seat. Although a lot of people like they, you know, they may disagree with me right now, you know what I'm saying, but come on, let's be honest. He was on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying?
Was.
Um, but yeah, I think they can repeat though. I think they can repeat.
Yeah, man. You know, I look at the Miami team and I'm just looking at the grand scheme of things across the ACC. I still think that they're probably, like you said, probably still one of the better teams in the conference. Again, like Mario Cristobal, we know he can recruit O linemen real well. So we know the O line is gonna always be one of the top O lines in the country. And I think that's like you said, bro. This Miami team ain't going nowhere, man. I hate to say it. They're in a good spot right now, man. I mean, at this point, it's all on Mario Cristobal, like you said, bro. Like, can he get the best out of this group? I think he maximized this group he could, getting into a national championship. They fell short, but hey, you know what I'm saying? They can make another run at it again. I mean, the playoffs, 12 teams. Hey, you got another shot at crack at it next year, man.
Yeah.
Uh, I do really think that this Miami team is as long as they got that boy Tony, but they gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? He's probably
Oh
the
yeah.
most exciting player in college football now. I think he took over Jeremiah Smith's spot from Ohio State and one kid from Ryan Williams from
Nah,
Alabama. I think Tony done
it,
caught. I think Tony better than both of them. Maybe that's the Florida in me. I think Tony
nah,
better.
I'm not gonna say that. Nah,
Why you say that? Go ahead.
Jeremiah Smith. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. You
I
know,
think he better than both
I ain't
of
gonna
them.
say he better than Jeremiah Smith. I'm a hold that. You get what I'm saying? Jeremiah Smith, man, like do the monster whatnot. Now
He,
I mean, he a monster too. You get what I'm saying? Different types of different styles, different types of receivers or whatnot. Um, but at the same time, I would say that's a fair assessment or whatnot. But I've been seeing Jeremiah Smith more consistent. You know, Tony, on the other hand, you know, we going to see another season out of him. I think that he can be just as good as those guys do. I think he can, but I'm not going. As of right now, I got to see him in his sophomore year.
Okay, so this is my thing, man. Let's put it out to the poll, man. Uh, we're gonna put it out to the audience, man. So out of these three wide receivers we talked about, Kadarius Tony, Jeremiah Smith, and Ryan Williams. Those three receivers, man, y'all get in the chat, man. Y'all tell us who y'all think is the better receiver. My co-host Greg feel like Jeremiah Smith, and I think they're all three legit. They're all three legit, and I think all three of these guys gonna be first round grades, first round talents when they come out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Maybe it's just a flaw to me. I mean, that dude Tony's just so explosive. Like he get a
Yeah,
crack a seam and he gone. Like I
right.
mean, I ain't seen speed like that from a Miami wide receiver. And we was having this debate online, and maybe you may disagree. Santana Moss,
I was just about to say Santana Moss. That's who I was just about to say. You know what I'm saying?
man. So yeah, so that's my little tidbit on that,
People
man.
like
Hey, stop.
I see him like when I look at Tony, I see him more than just a receiver. He you know what I'm saying? He has been a elite receiver since being at Miami, but also see him as a complete football player. You get what I'm saying? Like you
Mm-hmm,
can line him up in the backfield, you can line him up at the slot, you can line him at the one receiver. You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Like dude is an athlete. So yeah, I can't wait to see him next season, man. I think he's gonna be good, but it just I'm not gonna put him on their level yet because they're more consistent. You
I got
know,
you. I feel you. And respect. Like I said, y'all get in the chat, man. Tony, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, man. So I mean, I think we beat up this topic a little bit. So let's talk about Kurt Cinetti, man. We're gonna go right into that. And I think we had a conversation about that, you know, before the show. And you was telling about, Kurt and what he's done in college football. And you mentioned something about you. I'll let you go. Go ahead. What you
Oh,
talking about? Go ahead,
you
Greg.
talking about oh yeah, man. I brought it up a couple of weeks, and I also seen I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, and I also seen Stephen A. Smith. He also said the same thing, that the amount of pressure that he's put on other coaches, head coaches out there. You get what I'm saying? Because you remember, I was like, well, damn, like, Penn State, they let go James Franklin, and I was one of them people that I'm giving James Franklin the benefit of the doubt. I was saying that Ohio State, they're a more talented team. You get what I'm saying? Michigan, they're the top teams. Then teams like Penn State and Indiana, they get all the leftovers or whatnot. But after seeing this performance this season, and not just this season, last season as well, it makes it that much harder to make excuses for some of these other coaches. You get what I'm saying? When you look at coaches like James Franklin, you know what I'm saying? When you look at coaches like Mike Norvell, and so on and so on, even Lincoln Riley, you know what I'm saying, at USC, you
Big facts.
know,
Facts.
um Kelly, Chip, whatever did I say? Chip Kelly, not Chip Kelly, but that was just at LSU that just got fired.
You talking about
Um,
your boy Brian Kelly.
Brian
Brian.
Kelly, yeah. So when you see these players that haven't won a national championship, it put the pressure on these dudes, man, especially when they're getting more talent. You know what I'm saying? Like Chip Kelly, Notre Dame, LSU. They name recruit alone, outside of, forget what coaches there, just
Mhm.
that brand that you're gonna bring in recruits.
I
So even when you look at Alabama head coach, even though I think Alabama should, they fan base should take a chill pill,
Mhm.
but that putting a lot of these head coaches on notice, man, when you got a coach, when you got him that came in and was able to do a lot with less. You know what I'm saying? Not a single 5-star recruit was on his roster. Now, some people may come in and say that, half of his players, the players on his team was 30, was 25 to 30-year-old players on his team or whatnot.
Mhm.
But you gotta salute them, man. And I think the pressure that's about to be put on these head coaches is warranted. You get what I'm saying?
Big
Because you
fact.
look at the amount of resources that they have at these, man. This Indiana, man, like Indiana's not known for football. They're known for basketball.
Yo, yeah.
So
Big
to come in and give them their first trophy or whatnot, that says a lot. And this is one of the things I felt that Lane Kiffin should have did. You get what I'm saying? Like with Ole Miss, you know, man, Kurt Savetti, man, his name is going to be penciled in as the cornerstone when you talk about Indiana football. You're
Yeah, he
not
gonna
going to be
be.
able to talk about Indiana football without speaking about Kurt Savetti and Hernandez Mendoza,
Right.
Fernando Mendoza. So these guys is penciled in like, you know what I'm saying? You can see that, it's a possibility that these two gonna have a statue in Indiana. You know what I'm saying?
You know it is, man. To be
Yeah,
the first
right,
ever to do it. Oh man,
right. So
they both
so
get
this
they both getting statues.
so this is why I felt as though that Lane Kiffin should have stayed at Ole Miss. Like, you finna go to LSU. I mean, if you win one championship, yeah, they gonna congratulate you, but whoop de do. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get the same treatment Ed Ogeron got and Gus Malzahn. You gonna get the same treatment they got. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. Like, you got to look at that, man. And, with these jobs now, it's all about can you develop the players, and you got to have the right scheme for the players that you're bringing in, man. And I think Kurt Savetti has done a great job of finding the right guys, getting the right guys to fit his system, and he's found a great balance of porter guys and high school guys. And I think that's where a lot of these schools are messing up at, is because they're going after the flashy NIL guys or the 5-star guys, and they don't necessarily work. Like you said, that's why I feel like, Kirk Savetti has changed college football because, now you can your window for building a team, you only got like maybe 2 years, 3 years at max to get it done. And you can't get it done, then it's like, hey man, what are we paying you
Right.
for, dog? We see what Kirk
Exactly.
did over at Indiana. So, like I said, he has put a lot of pressure on these blue bloods. These blue bloods like
Correct.
LSU, Florida State, all these blue bloods, man. Y'all, hey, your coaches got, hey, you better figure it out. Because if Kirk can do it at Indiana, which is not a blue blood football school, it's gonna be like you said, bro. The pressure's just gonna mount, man. But I like the space that college football is in the sense of the competition that we don't know who's gonna win it from a year in and win out now because I think the power in the SEC is slowly going away in a sense. But I don't know. 3 years in a row, Big Ten teams has won it, dog. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that got to be said something. So I just think the way college football in now, as far as the parity, it's a great thing.
And you know the crazy part, man, Indiana could be a one-hit wonder team, right?
Right,
But when it all boiling down, they gonna remember this year, right? This gonna stand bigger than any other thing that most of these other coaches doing at these other schools. You know what I'm saying? This is like I don't think a lot of people understand how big this story is, this movement is. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And so, like, even like, you know what I'm saying, when you look at Miami, like, yeah, if they would have won, they would have been like the US back and everything. They would have celebrated and Corey Gables and whatnot. It would have been a great story. But Indiana, you know what I'm saying, they first national championship. You get what I'm saying? And well, I'm not going to even say the lack of talent, but the lack of recruits that they have versus you know what I'm saying, the other schools that they had to go against. You know what I'm saying? You look at Oregon, they blow Oregon out. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
mean, let's not even talk. Let's not even talk. Like, this the second year in a row Oregon and got blowed out too. Might I add? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I forgot they
This
got beat.
second year in a row.
Yeah, I forgot
They
about they got
they got
beat
blowed out last year. They got
last year
blowed out this year.
too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Mm.
So yeah, man. So I think
But
it's a
I
good thing. Hey, like I said, Kurt has changed it, and another thing is too with the NIL money, and we'll move on to the NFL. He didn't have as much NIL money as everybody thought because he said something about that in his press conference, like he wanted to nip that in the bud. Like, we don't have a budget like a LSU or a
right.
Texas. We got a small NIL budget, and they was able to get it done. So that kills that narrative of, oh well, you need a lot of money to win. No, you don't. You just got to get the right personnel. That's it.
Right. Right.
So let's move on to the NFL, man, and these playoff games that we had over the week, man. It was some great games on this week. Only blowout game was the Rams and the 49ers, but I think all the other games was pretty competitive this week.
Oh yeah, of course, man. They can't when they go down to the fourth game. When they go down to the fourth quarter, you pretty much got yourself a game. I mean,
Right.
49 Seahawks game. I think that was a with a halftime.
Yeah, that game was over at halftime,
Yeah,
man. It wasn't even close,
I
man.
was waiting on Sunday to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dog, to be honest with you, man, that game was just a wash, bro. I won't say I was disappointed. I just think the injuries, everything that what the 49ers went throughout the course of the year, I just feel like it caught up with them in the last game. I mean, it caught up with them.
Right.
The defense couldn't stop nobody with all the key injuries out. I mean, it just caught up with them, man. I think Kyle Shanahan did a phenomenal job with all those injuries, man. But you
And,
can't come back for certain that stuff sometimes, man. Coaching
and we
only means so much.
right. And man, with the Seahawks, man, Seahawks is actually one of the best teams out there. I think everybody, with most people, um, a lot of people is kind of skeptical because you're looking at Sam Darnold. When
Mhm.
you look at his playoff performance from last season.
Right.
And so a lot of people is looking like, is we gonna see that same Sam Darnold in the playoff? You know what I'm saying?
I
So
feel you.
these playoff games, these playoffs performance stands out a whole lot, way more than your performance in the regular season. When you see players like Eli Manning, he's being considered for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And his pretty much his regular season performance was pretty much subpar. But what he was able to do in the postseason, those 2 seasons, was I mean, he beat one of the best. He beat an undefeated New England Patriots team, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Randy
Big
Moss team,
big facts.
right? And
Um,
so being and they was the underdog. I think that was probably one of the didn't nobody expect the Giants to beat them that year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
I
the
mean, yeah,
Giants,
it was
maybe the
tough,
Giants they
man.
self did, but any
We
any
none of us
no,
did. I know
did
I
nobody
didn't.
outside did nobody outside the Giants, the New York Giants fan base expect them to win that game.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just one of those things, man, where um the playoffs, man, is something, man, and you don't know what happens. You know what I'm saying? Expect the unexpected, man. We seen a Bears team that I thought at one point was going to win that game against the Rams. It looked like they had it.
Mm.
That throw that Caleb Williams made, that was a big time throw, dog. Like
Yes, it was.
he showed what he was the number one pick with that throw.
Oh yeah,
Clutch, man.
exactly.
I mean,
And
bro,
and that ain't the only one he had this season.
exactly. He
You
had
look
that
at the
other. Was the
the
first
last
one
playoff
again?
game.
The
Yeah,
last playoff game, yeah.
right,
So I mean, the kid showed promise, man, and I mean, it was a good game, man. But the Rams is a more veteran team, and it showed late down the stretch. What's the name? Caleb Williams threw a bad interception, but he's a young kid, first rookie
right,
in the playoffs. I don't think nobody gonna hold that for him. Like he got to learn from that. But
right.
you just look at that game, man. Chicago, man, they shocked me. I actually had them going to the Super Bowl at one point, the way it was playing. But I mean, I think they're a year ahead of schedule too as well, man. This Bears team is gonna look good next year, man. Ben Johnson, think he figured that out. If they can just get that defense a little bit better, I think this team is definitely gonna be one of the teams to beat in the NFC, man. Definitely years to
Oh,
come, man, if they can keep it together.
they got them something going over there.
They really do,
Got them
man.
some. You know what I'm saying? When you can get your quarterback playing like that in year 2, yeah, they got something going over there.
Yeah, man. And so let's talk about the the game that everybody kind of talking about is that Texas and Patriots game, man. Boy. Where did we start? I mean,
got
man, and I'm finna, and I know I got some of my people on TikTok right now. That's H Town fans, my boy H Town Houston. I know you own this, and I'm about to ride on y'all real quick, boy, because a lot of y'all Houston fans. Oh man, we got the number one defense. We good. We this. We gonna be all right. And I kept telling y'all, hey man, CJ Stroud can't play like that next game, man. Like, I don't know. Foxborough, the weather, it's cold, all those elements. Hey man, this ain't the same team. This Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was an old ass team. Old ass
right.
team. Old ass Aaron Rodgers, old ass Jalen Ramsey, old ass Darius Slay, all these old motherfuckers. And I kept telling y'all, hey, CJ Stroud gotta play better. And we go out there, dude, and throw 4 fucking interceptions. I mean, it looked bad, bro.
Man, he
It looked
played
bad.
like cheap, man.
He looked like super cheats, man. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's not the answer with Houston, but I do think that Houston made a big mistake when they let go Bobby Slowick as their offensive coordinator, and they got rid of key people on the offensive line like Lermy Tonsil and guys like they reshuffled the line. Most teams don't do that in that type of way. They usually will, if in a situation where the O line offensive coordinator might get relieved, they're gonna keep everybody else in place and let that offensive coordinator work with what they got. Maybe add a few additional pieces here and there. But the Houston Texans went a whole nother way about it. They let go the offensive coordinator, they revamped the line, and I think it was just so many new parts for CJ Stroud to work with this season, man. And it showed, man. It's just he looked bad all season, man. I don't know why everybody want to just keep point to this game. If you look at CJ Stroud throughout the course of the season, bro, he played bad most of the season, man. He was hurt. It was just bad, man. I mean, it did not look good, man. And I tried to tell Houston fans. I did. I really did, man. I told y'all just because y'all had number one defense, y'all wasn't gonna go to the Super Bowl. The NFL has changed.
Yeah, I would say, man, man, with that, man, hold on real quick.
Go
God
ahead, bro.
damn, this John acting stupid, man. Man, but um, I think that, he had a horrible game. I'm gonna keep it a buck. He had a horrible game or whatnot. Do I think that's gonna be CJ Stroud usual? No, I do not, because he had a good performance in his first season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to balance it out. I'm also going to point out the fact he didn't have his number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? He had players that was hurt. You know, but at the same time, too, when you look at how he, how his throwing, you know what I'm saying, how he was throwing the ball, he was off, he was inaccurate. Regardless of whether you have your receivers out there or not, it's still some type of accuracy that has to be, you know what I'm saying. You still have to have some type of accuracy in your throws, regardless of who's out there. And he was just off. He had a bad night. He had a horrible night. Now, shit, CJ Stroud gotten benched. I'm not gonna even jump as far as saying that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta rough it out with the guy you got, because the same could be said about Trevor Lawrence when he throw 4 interceptions against the Chargers. But what happened in that game? He ended up winning the game or whatnot. So I'm not going to say that CJ Stroud should have got benched. I would have kept him out there. This is what you pay him for. Let him get those reps. He mess up, let him figure it out. You know, this is who got you to this game or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Um, I didn't, like I said, man, they're not, and Houston is a talented team, especially when you look at their defense. But I think injuries was a huge factor, and CJ Stroud was off. You know what I'm saying? That mess up your chemistry, your timing, and everything. So I'm gonna say, it's one playoff game or whatnot, man. And I think that Houston still gonna, Houston get better from here. They still gonna be a team we're gonna have to watch out for in the South.
I still do think they're a team to watch out for, but I can just say this right here, man. If CJ Stroud does not get better, after this year, like they going to this next season, he's still like playing like he's playing like right now, just mid.
Yeah,
Man, you're gonna have to seriously start asking yourself questions because we know what the defense gonna do. The defense, the
yeah,
Houston Texans gonna always have defense. D'Amico Ryan's is
r-
their coach. They're gonna probably
right,
always have a top 10, top 5 defense, long as he they coach. The question is can you get enough out of CJ Stroud to where you can, what I'm saying, at least win a Super Bowl, man, because that defense is not going to be playing elite. And I
right,
guarantee you, they're not going to have the number one defense next year. You know what I'm saying? They might be in the top 10, but they're not going to have the number one defense. So it's like you pissed away 1 year of elite defense because we know elite defenses don't come by far and few between. The Ravens defense, the Bears 86 defense or 85 defense, whatever. Those
right,
defenses, they don't come around, and they had one of those type defenses. And it just seemed like, man, like that's a year that's just gone. You get what I'm saying? He
right.
wasn't able to play like Trent Dilfer for them to win. I'm saying for real though, dog.
Yeah,
We need at least Trent
yeah,
type play for you to at least we can get to the Super Bowl, man. But
right.
you gotta look at that and just be like, man, I'm wasting opportunity, man. And I just think that the Houston Texans might be around, but dog, I like what Jacksonville got what's going on right now. I think Jacksonville window is now. I mean, we're a year early too. If you think
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
definitely, man. You look at both teams, man. I think, like you say, you look at the defense side of the ball, it's pretty much Houston. When you look at the offensive side of the ball, I like what we're doing out there. Um, so I think, man, it's gonna be a tough, even with the Colts, it's gonna be a tough fight or whatnot. We don't know what's going on with Tennessee as of now. We know they had a coaching change or whatnot. Cam Ward played better towards the end of the season. So
Yeah, he did.
right, he played better towards the end of the season. I'm gonna say that team period played good towards the end of the season. So, man, I still like our chances next season, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't get that twisted now. I still like our chances and whatnot.
Absolutely, man. Man, I just think that it's still a level of disrespect across the league, when it comes to the AFC South or just in the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Because there's a
Right,
lot of teams, I mean, a lot of they still think that they think it's just gonna be a one-hit wonder. That's what I
right,
think the consensus of the lead around league is. Oh, they just had one good year. Liam Cohen, yeah, it's a feel-good story. They're not gonna be back. But I think when you look at this Jaguar team, just like D'Amico Ryans came in his first year as a young head coach, I think he
right.
has the same effect on the Jacksonville Jaguars as well.
Oh yeah, man, definitely do, man. You know what I'm saying? His first year as a head coach and whatnot, man. Um, like I say, man, you look at man what was he was able to do with Trevor Lawrence. Man, the dude can coach, man. The dude can coach. But I think the thing is, man, you have to have your you gotta have your you have to be able to put together a coaching staff or whatnot, an offensive coordinator. Especially when especially this, man, especially when you got use a defensive minded coach. If you
Big
look at New England, right? Just take New England for example. We know that Bill Belichick, going to go down as one of the best, the greatest quarterback. I mean, head coach. He's going down as the GOAT. But at the same time, if you look at, when they was, their success or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Now it's levels to it. It
mhm.
was times they were just making the playoff and they was making deep runs or whatnot. But they was out of there by the division round or the AFC championship game.
Right.
But look at when they had Josh McDaniels or whatnot. They had a better offense when Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator. Tom Brady was at his best. Tom Brady, he still was Tom Brady, but the offense ran better when Josh McDaniel was the offensive coordinator. And that could be the same thing with Houston. You have to be able to put a coaching staff together. Um, I forgot who pointed this out, right, and they said this, right. You know, look at a head coach, right, you have two types of coaches. You have coaches that can, call plays or whatnot. They can call plays. They can put together a system, and you also got coaches that are like what you call cultural guys. They can put together a coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be able to do either one. You have to be able to put together a coaching staff, or you have to be able to put together a good system or whatnot.
I agree, man. You have to be able to put together a good coaching staff, man. And I think D'Amico Ryans has done a pretty solid job of putting together a coaching staff. But again, man, I do think that when you look at just the AFC South, man, like I said, like with the Texans, man, I think that window is starting to close a little bit, only because the coming up of Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think what we got expectations this year, and then also too, man, teams is getting better, man. Like, the Titans just hired Robert Saleh, but I still think, Liam Cohen with the whole exchange they have,
Right,
that's gonna be a nice little rival for years to come. You know what I'm saying, between
right,
those two coaches, man. But even they getting better. Robert Saleh, he's known for getting a solid coaching staff too. So I
right.
think the Texans, man, although they're going to be competitive next year, I think the window is starting to close, and at some point, if CJ Stroud continue to play like he's playing now, they're going to have to make a decision on him. Because I think that they may not pick up that 5th year option. He's going to play on the. He's going to play on the. He's going to play. I don't think they'll do what the Jaguars did, is pick up that 5th year option. What we did with Trevor, they're probably going to make CJ Stroud play on it going into his fourth.
I think a lot of times, windows do close or whatnot, but I think this, right. When you have a good coach and you got a good quarterback, when you have a system out there, you know what I'm saying? When you talking about a front office, a head coach, and a quarterback, just like a window can close, I think a window can open back up too. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree.
If you look at Kansas City Chiefs or whatnot,
I
you
agree.
know, just to add, we just talking about Airbnb. I think he's going back, but some people may look at it like ask if their window's closing, but And it was the same thing people thought with the Patriots, to bring them back up again.
Right.
We pretty much thought that the dynasty was over, but they came back and won three more Super Bowls. So just like I say that to say this, just like a window can close, it can open back up if you got
Okay.
the right personnel, a head coach and a front office.
I agree.
Those things are key ingredients to running a franchise.
Okay. So we got Randy on the line here, man. What's your question, Randy? You can hear him?
A little bit. I got mine on live too on YouTube. Could we join or something? Like if mine live on YouTube or something?
No, I ain't won't let you because it's TikTok.
Oh, okay. Not on that one. I mean, I'm talking about on TikTok.
Yeah, if you can join in live, yeah, you can join in on. Yeah, go
My
ahead.
my mine already live or whatnot on TikTok.
Let me hold up though. Let me invite you then. Let me invite you.
All right.
I can invite you. All right. How we doing? Go ahead. Go ahead, Randy. Give your question off. I just invited you.
Okay. I ain't see it come out yet. Got somebody just joined the chat.
Mm-hmm.
That's we were saying if you got a defense, you also got to have an offense.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. You gotta have
I
defense, you gotta have offense. Okay. I'm gonna
I
let
I
Randy, I'm gonna let Greg respond back to you. Go ahead.
I agree. You have to have both. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, and we talking about Houston right now. For those that just joined in, um, yes, you have to have both or whatnot. But at the same time, if you have a dominant defense, your offense can be subpar. We know that when you have like with CJ Stroud, we know he's a good quarterback. I'm not going to use this one playoff performance to say that that he can't play he can't play in the National Football League. Even though it was a hard performance, I'm not going to say that he can't play in the National Football League. But I will say this right here, right? You get what I'm saying? That they have shown that he's capable of taking them, to the Super Bowl, to be, to being able to play playoff football. And I have to go back to year one. I got to go back to his first year how he played. And I think he did a great job or whatnot. That was unexpected because, he was his second quarterback ticket. He wasn't even the first quarterback ticket. So, you know what I'm saying? So I have to say that, we know the defense gonna be there. I have to you know what I'm saying? So I have to say that, man, I think that they problems, whatever problems they have, is going to work itself out. They go back to what I said. They have the key. I think that their franchise have the key ingredients: a front office, a head coach, and they have a quarterback. And I think with the whatever, what I'm saying, they can build around with whatever else. They were just banged up.
All right, so we got another guy, we got another person that want to get on the
Right.
real MVP. What's your question?
The real MVP.
Yup.
He's talking. We can't hear him.
Yep. Yeah. So what's your issue, man? Go ahead. Right. Go ahead.
Wow. He say
He say Trevor Lawrence the best
Trevor
quarterback
the
in
best
the AFC
quarter.
South.
Okay, one of the guys in the chat say Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the AFC South. Um, I I would
Go
I
ahead,
would
Randy. Hold on, Randy. Let let
I,
let Greg finish his question, then I'll let you come jump back in, Randy. Go ahead,
I would
Greg.
I would I would I would have to somewhat agree with that. I would love to be able to agree with that, right? I would say if I'm looking at this season, I'm going to say yes, Trevor Lawrence was the better quarterback this season or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, with me being a Jags fan, one of the things I have to try not to do is I have to try not to put my bias into
Go
it
to
as
the
well.
moment.
Right. because I have to look at that. Trevor Lawrence had a good season, but at the same time, if I'm looking at their whole body of work, I have to say that C.J. Stroud has been the better quarterback. You know, although his first season was spectacular. You know, then when you look at the last couple of seasons, it was kind of like it's work to be done. You know, kind of in the sense like when we looked at that Prescott. But at the same time, CJ Stroud has never gave me a season where he looked at like he could, that he needed to be replaced. Or that, that his fan base, the Houston fan base was probably displeased with him. Trevor Lawrence, on the other hand, he had, where out, I'm not gonna even say the first season. His first season, he didn't look, he looked like a rookie. You know what I'm saying? But it was other issues along with that. Now, when we looking at CJ, Trevor Lawrence, the other seasons or whatnot, the second season, he looked good. But we looked at the third, year 3 and year 4. You know, it was a lot of people looking at Trevor Lawrence as if like, hey man, we might need to move on. It's a failed project. You know, he's not living up to the stigma that was put on his name, the generational talent. So I have to say, man, I'm not going to say that Trevor Lawrence, like overall, is the better quarterback, but I will say, as of this season, he was the better quarterback this season.
All right, Randy. The real MVP. Y'all thoughts, man, on what he just what Greg, our coach, just said.
I agree with that. But I do feel like it takes, a lot of quarterbacks, it takes a little bit more time to develop. You know what I mean? Especially when you're coming from a college level to NFL, and it's two different, it's two different leagues. And I feel like a lot of
Right.
times people say that, if it ain't broke, don't fix
Also,
it.
too, man, for y'all to just join the chat, we also live on YouTube, man. Link in the bio, man. Greg Maddox on YouTube or whatnot. Me and my co-host live. First class. He's live on First Class Media. I'm live on Greg Maddox Jr. Name spelled just like it is on TikTok. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, man. And also, man, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Finish
Show
what you
your boy some support. I'm
was.
still listening.
Go ahead, Randy. Finish what you were saying, man. So I do think that quarterbacks need more time to develop, certain quarterbacks. But when you put that stigma of generational talent, or when you put that stigma of, hey, I'm this guy, like, and I think CJ Stroud, I put a lot of you know, the videos out there, but he had to humble himself. He put himself as a top 5 quarterback like his rookie season.
Don't forget to hit that follow button, y'all.
You
We
get what
talking
I'm
about
saying?
CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence.
That's like Josh Allen.
Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. One suggested that Trevor Lawrence is the better quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the ALC South, man. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the chat, man. Who the better quarterback out of CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence? Who the best quarterback y'all think in the ALC South, period?
It looks like it may be a Josh Allen issue.
Oh, they
Okay,
might not hear me. Oh man, just
they heard
I
you
don't know if
because they
y'all
got
heard.
some
No,
people
no,
in the chat
no. I'm
right
talking
now.
about on my other phone. I had my volume low. Hey man, y'all just join me in the chat, man. We having a conversation. Who y'all think is the best quarterback in the ALC South? Um, right now it's narrowed down to Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud. But tell me what y'all think, man, in the chat or whatnot, man. And also hit that like button, hit that follow button. I'm also live on YouTube at Greg Maddox Jr. On YouTube, and my co-host, he's also live on First Class Media.
So, like they in the comment section right now, they're saying Trevor Lawrence is buns.
Trevor.
CJ Stroud is even more buns. The number
Wow,
1 quarterback is Caleb Williams. It's a because your team's trash. I ain't worrying about it. You
that's
got
crazy.
a bunch of pros in here, so we're
That's
not gonna
crazy.
worry about that. They gonna talk their shit about. They can talk their
Right.
shit. But the question of it is, it seems like, at least in the chat right now, is they're not sold on Trevor nor CJ Stroud in the chat.
I mean, okay, I understand, but at the same time, man, it's like, I mean, some people come with some of the most outlandish comments, man, or whatnot, man. You gotta examine these guys, man. Like, you know, see, when I look at it, man, I look at the development process. You know, the things that we wanted Trevor Lawrence to develop on, he developed. You know,
Right.
I'm not that in depth with Houston or whatnot. You know, when we saw CJ Stroud his first season, he looked good. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the same with Cam Ward. You know, the things that they want him to develop with the team or whatnot, they're going to try to make sure he develop. You know, and I used to always point this out with Trevor Lawrence or whatnot, man. You know, hey, you know, I used to always point out his pre-snap read. We used to point out his ball placement, you
Mm-hmm.
know, going through his progression. These are things he have gotten better with this season or whatnot, you know. Um, Another thing, and I pointed this out last week, you know, being able to manipulate the pocket. And I think that was key for extending plays or whatnot,
Right.
especially if you don't have the best offensive line to be able to manipulate the pocket. That was one of the things I saw Caleb Williams able to do. You know, anytime you have a quarterback and he's able to extend drives or whatnot, man, you always leave room for your receivers to get open. You
Mhm.
know, Josh Allen, you know, he's able to do that. Um, Patrick Mahomes or whatnot. So my thing is this, man, you know, you have to look at have these guys gotten better, you know, and I have to say that yes, they especially if talking about Trevor Lawrence, he have gotten better on the things that he was criticized with.
I agree, man. He has
And
gotten better,
and
man.
and, and also this, man, to add to that, you have to think about this as well, man. You know, you also have to think about this as well. He's only 25, and I had to come to terms with that. He's only 25. This was his fifth season. You know what I'm saying? You we saw this same thing with Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, you know, and the same thing going on with a few other quarterbacks as well, man. A lot of times you have to get placed in the right situation. You got to put the work in as well, but you also have to, you know, along with putting in the work, you have to be placed in the right situation to succeed, man.
All right. You heard that, Randy, right?
Yes, to add on to what he said about the offensive line, you know, if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have to have a mobile quarterback. You know what I mean? Because the game has changed. It's not about finding quarterbacks anymore. You have to have a mobile quarterback, and a lot of that, you know, you legit. That's another thing with Mahomes. Mahomes is so good about running, knowing when to run the ball. He's so good at getting away. Uh, Josh Allen's the same way. And I feel like, you know, it takes a generation of, because to me there's not as many dynamic running backs anymore in the league, so it relies on quarterback play.
I
Who is
agree with
that?
that. I agree with that to a certain degree. I mean, if you look at certain teams, the quarterback is usually like the second leading rusher. Like
Appreciate y'all
for
joining
instance,
the
like
chat.
the Bills the same was like that this year. Though Josh Allen was the second leading rusher outside of James Cook. And hell, I want to even say you know, Jacksonville, like, you know, Trevor Lawrence, he wasn't our leading rusher, but he was up there in rushing yards because of all the times that he had to go out and hit the escapability of him. So I do agree that to a certain extent. But I think the key thing is, Randy, is you have to find the right play caller.
Hello,
Somebody who can pair up with your quarterback. And if you can't find that in
hello,
in this generation of NFL, you're gonna have a hard time winning games.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is
hello,
one of the quarterbacks that
hello,
this year is
hello.
Drake May.
No, no, I know this. Hey, let me call you back. We doing the podcast right now, man, Joe.
You know, and Garland did really in the first year, but this year he's really come. If he can get the turnovers taken care of, then New England will continue to be in contention every year.
All right, the real MVP. You got anything to say, real MVP? Because I know we kind of been letting him talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been kind of waiting. So I got a couple different points to point out because I've been listening to what you guys been saying. First of all, I believe Trevor Lawrence has progressed and CJ Stroud regressed. So if you look at the development
I
between
agree with that.
quarterbacks, when CJ Stroud, for example, his rookie year, and when he was playing, one of the most things that scare me as a Jags fan is his presence in the pocket. Like he would collapse the pocket, and CJ Stroud would go out of the pocket, he would do something, and he would always have his eyes upfield and making a play. Like he would do it all the time. He was so confident in the pocket. Now, when the pocket collapses, CJ Stroud he's you know his eyes are down. He's throwing interceptions, making crazy plays. He's not confident at all. So I don't know if that's because he's always taking hits or getting sacked. CJ Stroud is different. And I will say when Davis Mills took over when CJ Stroud was on concussion protocol, Davis Mills looked better than CJ Stroud. I don't believe CJ Stroud took back over and was better than Davis Mills. CJ Stroud
Um,
were the same after his multiple concussions. Now once
can
after,
can 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 you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear you.
yeah,
Okay, I would say the same. I would say this right when you looking at with Davis Mills or whatnot. A lot of times, when you look at quarterbacks, like they come in, they have that one game they come in because you don't have film on them, and a lot of times we don't have film on somebody. They pretty much, a lot of times they get away with a lot of things and whatnot. It's kind of like when you see quarterbacks in their first season or whatnot, then they have the sophomore slump. So although Davis Mills, he had that game or whatnot that he played good or whatnot, but it's no way I'm going to start Davis Mills over CJ Stroud. Now, granted, Davis Mills know the system. I feel that he's a good backup, but I'm not going to start him over CJ Stroud, somebody that have gotten me to that point, somebody who got me to the playoffs or whatnot. It's no way I'm going to start him over there. You know what I'm saying? Um,
I agree.
I'm going to, like I say, man, and I pointed this out earlier. It's like the same thing with Trevor Lawrence in his second season or whatnot. He threw 4 interceptions in the first half, but at the same time he came back in the second half and won the game for us. So a lot of times, man, you have to rough it out, man. You got to go through the growing pain. I don't think that Davis Mills would have made a difference, especially when you have a depleted receiving core.
I agree. All I'm saying is when Davis Mills was playing, he had a little bit more, let's say, confidence than CJ. When CJ is playing, and ever since he came back from those multiple concussions, he never looked comfortable in the pocket anymore. He was always looking to just get rid of it. He never looked the same.
I agree with you, real MVP. Cause he been scared. It would surprise me though that he ran the ball on Sunday because at one point in the first playoff game, I don't think he took off running out one time. He was just looking to get rid of the ball. He ran this week, so I do agree with you, real MVP, on that. That yeah, he has not looked the same since those concussions.
Can I ask you a question? Y'all think Shroud is this game manager? Y'all think he's just
I won't say he's a game manager, but what I will say is he gonna have to get back to the drawing board because the New England Patriots was sitting on routes. They was sitting on routes, like literally, like the way watching that game, it seemed like the New England Patriots said we gonna let C.J. Stroud beat us. Can he beat us with his arm? And they sat on every short route. He didn't make only a few three deep throws. You know what I'm saying? All the short intermediate routes they sat on. They sat on all that, and that's why you seen those all the tip balls, the interceptions, because they did not fear D6 route throwing the ball downfield. They didn't fear it.
Y'all think that the weather has a factor to do with it?
Absolutely, it did. I felt
Oh
like it
yeah,
did. I felt like
especially when you used to playing in the dorm, the weather
it,
definitely gonna have an effect on it.
for real, for real. I knew that would be a big factor. Playing in the NRG, playing in the dome, playing in a controlled environment, climate controlled environment. Now you playing outside the elements. I knew, and that kid, he a Cali kid. He ain't never really seen snow like that.
Yeah, because they got Nick Chubb, right? As running back, they got Nick Chubb.
Yeah, he they third down back.
So I mean, they should be okay with him. They should be okay.
Well, Woody Mark's been playing better than him though. Woody Mark's been playing better than him this year.
Tell me what y'all think in the chat, man. Who the best quarterback in the AFC South?
Real,
CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward, or who the other? Oh, um,
um,
Daniel Jones.
Daniel
Daniel.
Jones. Yeah, go ahead, talk your shit, bro.
I have one more thing to say about just talking about CJ and then Trevor. As far as Trevor goes, I feel like we have a lot of Jag supporters here, so I know you guys know. Trevor he's never had a let's say a head coach or offensive coordinator that was able to break the game down and develop Trevor like in the league. He has not had that. He's had Doug Marrone. He's had let's see, Doug Peterson, Urban Meyer, all trash. None of them ever developed Trevor the way that Liam Cohen has. You can tell when Trevor goes up to the line, he's looking at the defensive coverage. He's doing the motions to see where he's going with the ball. He has never done that his entire career. And it's as simple as having a competent coach that's able to break the game down to Trevor. And I feel like this whole time Trevor's been playing, he's just been playing off, skill on whatever play calls he has. But when he gets under pressure, whatever case may be, or he can't read a play, he's throwing interception, he's fumbling. He's been doing that. And now, since Liam Cohen's got there, he's taught him to look at the defense who's coming out, get your eyes, get the safety off of him to open up his route. He's totally developed. And I'm hoping that he takes this into the next season and just takes it to another level. So
he been cut because he been cutting up.
With Liam Cohen,
them not kids. You gonna see what he been doing? Biting me, scratching me. He just been cutting up. Oh, so you go when he do it, you don't have a problem. Get your butt up out of here. That's my wife, man. She been a baby for my dog. Y'all seen how he been cutting up out here. I've been trying to do the podcast. What he been doing? Jumping on me, biting on me, been eating my hand. Now he get his mama here. He wanna act like, he treating me, he mistreating me.
Yeah, he's been barking and making noise.
Exactly. See, people on my live screen been saying the same thing. He been just tripping. But anyway, though, but I agree with you though, man. I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but I do agree with you, Real MVP. When I think about Trevor Lawrence and his development, I look at Doug Peterson. I felt like he had an old school scheme of running offenses. He still was trying to do a lot of that shit that worked in Philly, and I felt like the personnel that we had wasn't necessarily was the personnel could run that offense. Like, and I think a lot of times that's what got Trevor in trouble. That's what got him eventually fired because he couldn't elevate. He couldn't like change up his way of play calling of what he did in Philadelphia. When you look at Liam Cohen, this guy is a football head, and his dad was a football coach. So this guy understands X's and O's. And you can see it now when Trevor Lawrence, because like you said, he's playing with a lot more confidence, and he's he see it, he's reacting. He's not sitting there holding on to the ball, he's reading it. Yeah, he's reading it, and you're just seeing it. You're just seeing a better version of Trevor, man. And I just think that it was a blessing. I think the Jaguars finally got it right at the head coach. I think we got it right. Like we got it right.
Well, that's what I want to see with not trying to say this ended, but that's what I want to see with the Taylor Suspense in Atlanta. Develop Michael Penix, get Michael Penix going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
we don't know how Michael Penix is gonna react from this such to this such an injury. But you gotta give Penix one more year, and if he doesn't do it, then it's time to move on for him. You can't waste years on quarterbacks anymore. You know what I mean? Because now they fire coaches right away. You know what I mean? They don't give them time to develop players. I mean, and that's even with John Harbaugh and the Giants. I feel like he will develop Jackson Dart and turn the Giants into a team
A playoff team.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, so Greg, what's your thoughts, Greg? And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead.
About about Harbaugh with the Giants.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, whatever thoughts you got. Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot, I think that was a good move, man. You know what I'm saying? We know John Harbaugh a good coach. We saw Jackson Dart in his first year. The man looked the parallel to Josh Allen. I'm gonna keep it a buck. He looked the parallel to Josh Allen. We seen Cam Scatterbolt. You know what I'm saying? Malik Neighbors and at the wide eye position. Um, the other receiver. That I can't think his name, man. The short guy, man.
Uh, no, you'll come to my head. You talking about
Wendell or something like that. He had 1,000 yards this season.
you talking about
So I think, and then the defensive front. So they're a talented team or whatnot. If you're a head coach, man, I think that's a great opportunity to go to a team like that. Now, for some coaches, it wouldn't because the expectations is going to be high, and a lot of coaches are not ready for that. I think John Harbaugh be the perfect coach for them.
yeah, man, I agree. So let's go ahead and we got our arrivals and departures, man. We at that part of the show. We hold the questions to the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? We do that. So Greg, I want you to start off with your arrivals and departures today, if you got them.
Um, which one we doing? Departures or arrivals first?
Let's do departures first, man, because I got one. If you ain't got one already,
Um, Departures. Go ahead. I gotta think of one.
all
I
right.
ain't even had one ready. I forgot about that part.
My Oh man, and my departures for the night, man, is the mainstream media, man. I'm so sick and tired of the mainstream media disrespecting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, when you look at the way the season we had, the type of season we had, no one expected the Jacksonville Jaguars to be in the situation we was in, and it seemed like throughout the course of the season, dog, it was like they was finding stuff. Like they had an issue with us how we was using Travis Hunter. They had an issue with us how Liam Coyne and how he was doing. It was just like you know this are they talked so much bad about us throughout the course of the season. For us to end up 13-4, it exceeded all expectations to win the AFC South. I think it is a lot. So mainstream media, man, y'all can kind of like y'all can shove it, man, in a sense, man, because um this Jacksonville Jaguar team is different now, man. And I just think that's what I want to say for my departure, man. Mainstream media.
For my departure, man, I gotta should I- who should I go with? Who should I go with this week for my departure?
Got Miami Hurricanes.
Nah, I ain't going with them. I ain't go. I ain't gonna say their departure or whatnot.
You got the Texans,
Um,
CJ Stroud. We got a couple of options out there this week.
I'm probably gonna have, and I hate to say it, even though they advanced, but probably the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix.
Ooh, yeah.
Unfortunate, man. Going into the end of the AFC Championship, and your quarterback suffered a season-ending injury. What, the last play of the game, the last drive of the game,
Last drive of the game, man.
right? So then, and the team advanced. So it's pretty much seemed like it's gonna be an easy trip for for New England.
Yeah,
But at the same time, who they got? Jerry Stidham.
Yeah, you got Jared Stidham. Yep.
Jarrett Stidham, he been in the league for quite some time now. He never impressed me, watching him play. But now he's playing up under Sean Payton. We know that Sean Payton throughout his whole career, he's been a quarterback whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they got a defense.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, man, I didn't see a much outside of RJ Harvey. I didn't see much of a run game or whatnot, man. Them being a threat in the run game or whatnot. But I think that Sean Payton know how to utilize his running back. Same thing he did when he was in
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans, and he know how to get the most out of the dudes that he do have back in the backfield. You know, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen, but I got to have them as my departure for this week, man, because I don't see them winning. You know what I'm saying? Not without both niggas, I don't see them winning.
I don't see them winning either without Bo Nix. I think New England is they going to the Super Bowl, back to Super Bowl. I think New England is. And I
Yeah.
hate that because now I got to hear, know who got to hear though? Nah,
Hold up.
Ty.
Oh yeah.
You got to
Them
hear
niggas
Ty.
can't beat me.
Yeah, man. That's my cousin, my brother-in-law, man. He's a big New England Patriot fan. And I don't know why he a New England Patriot fan. This dude from New Jersey, man. And he like the Patriots. I don't understand that, but whatever. But
Yeah, he like the Patriots.
so so on my arrival this week is I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams, man. There was the other team. I picked either the Rams or the Bears to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. And so far, I'm still in the hunt right now. So I'm thinking the Rams are gonna take care of business against the Seahawks. We'll see, but that's gonna be a tough task. But I like the Rams this year. I think that this is the team to beat. I think Matthew Stafford get his second MVP, his second Super Bowl win, and I think he solidified himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the game, man. First round draft pick out of Georgia. We never forget the way his career started. We thought he would never get to this point because he played with a shitty ass Detroit Lions team, and now
Right.
that ending his career, he finishing with the greatness. And I think we saw this in Detroit, but we couldn't really appreciate it because he was on such a bad team. But now you seeing the greatness of Matthew Stafford. So I think that's my arrival for this week. I think he solidified his stamp in the Hall of Fame as a elite quarterback, man. So I'm gonna go
Right.
at just Rams and Matthew Stafford.
I'm gonna go with Indiana Hoosiers, man. I think won their first national championship, had their first Heisman Trophy winner. And and coming into the season, I don't think nobody had them penciled in to win the national championship or none of that. So I gotta say they my rivals, man, and they could have something going. So I think that, man, a lot of us interested to see what's gonna happen with them next season. You get what I'm saying? I mean, they are playing in the Big Ten, so
That's what's up. So man, on that note, man, it's your boy Joe.
and it's your boy Greg.
Hey man, we out, man. So all you guys are still tuning on TikTok, we gonna still be screaming a little bit after this, man. And then me and my cousin we gonna wrap up and we gonna get started with some videos, man. So it's your boy Joe. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So, all right. So with you guys, man.